Welcome along to our big match preview and backed by Ladbrokes for the season. Remember, you can get yourself £20 if you bet £5 as a brand new customer. Click the link in the description to sign up. Terms and conditions apply. Back to the football, and Southampton travel to Selhurst Park on Saturday for an early kick-off, lunchtime, an early one for all of us. And looking at the recent results, both teams, this one's going to be a classic, of course. But there's only one place to start on our preview this time round, and it's a managerial merry-go-round already in full swing. And Frank de Boer, he's out of the door at Palace and dodges another Southampton fixture for the second time in less than a year. Now, we were heavy favourites for his signature last summer. Nick, have we dodged a bullet with de Boer?
Well, as you say, Frank de Boer's out the door after only 4. So the chances are, yeah, we have dodged a bit of a bullet. I mean, in fairness, how can you judge a manager after 4 games? I mean, Palace had brought in de Boer to change the mindset, change the attitude of the club, change the way they played. But, I mean, ultimately, they scraped out a relegation at the end of last season. So, you know, it was a poor side, a poorly run side. You can't just click your fingers, whether you're Frank de Boer or Jose Mourinho, and everything suddenly becomes right. You have to give him time. I mean, I watched a bit of the Palace game at Burnley, and they didn't look a side that weren't playing for the manager, or they were unlucky. They had some good chances. It just wasn't going in. So I think from that point of view, it might actually work in our favour that de Boer's gone. You know, they looked a side that just needed a break and hadn't got it. You know, this might have affected him. But, yeah, how can you sack a manager after 4 games?
Yeah, I think it's unjustified and a bit harsh in my opinion. But check out the other opposition preview where Jim, out of the Crystal Palace fan, tells us a bit more about his thoughts on it. But back to our action on the pitch then. Well, no goals, no points for Palace so far. And Saints have only scored in one game so far this season. And like last year, we go into this game, going into Palace, and with a supreme run without a win. And we well and truly messed it up last time round, getting hammered 3-0 up there. But what have Saints got to do this time round to ensure that we win our first home away game of the season?
We've just got to get back to basics. I mean, I think last week against Watford, or last weekend, a lot of people are screaming about, you know, not having strikers. The problem is not about the strikers. It's about giving the ball to the strikers in the right position to score. Lionel Messi could have played up front on Saturday and he wouldn't have scored because he wouldn't have got the ball. So, you know, we've got to look at what we've got and how we play. I mean, Mauricio Pellegrino was brave in what he did. He put out an attacking formation. He dropped Lemina, a holding midfield player, and he put in Sofiane Boufal, a flair player, as we used to call him in the old days. But it didn't work out as an attacking unit where we looked disjointed. So I think he's got to get back. And this gives us the opportunity to do this. And we did it under Ronald Koeman. Ronald Koeman didn't have rocket science. He played a solid back 4 with fullbacks who could get down the line. He had 2 good holding central midfield players who provided a base to work on and let the wide midfield players get forward. And he had the right sort of service to the striker. Now, if you're going to play Manola Gabbiadini up front as a lone striker, he's not the most physical with players. He needs a ball at his feet. So it's no use slinging the ball up to him, crossing the ball in 6'5" up in the air. He ain't going to win it. Manola Gabbiadini's goals have come from 2 directions. Firstly, he's playing balls in through the channel, as I think it was Nathan Redmond played him in against West Ham to score. And he scored a very similar goal, I think, against West Ham last season. So you've got to use him and lay the ball in behind the defence for him to run through. Or he's a fox in the box, as we say. You know, he suddenly pops up and toe pokes the ball in from close range type thing. So it's no use having your main source of supply, someone who'll run down to the corner flag and cross the ball and hope that he can outleap the 6'7" defender. So what we got to do is we got to get back to basics. That means 2 things, really. You keep your solid back 4, probably the same one maybe that started last week, possibly Yoshida in for Stevens. You stick Lemina back in alongside Romeu as a holding 2, which I think he would have done anyway, even if we'd have won against Watford. And then you've got to have Redmond on one side, and I would go for Tadic on the other. They're not in form, but they're probably the best players we've got. And then he's got to make up his mind what he does. Now, if he's got 2 holding midfield players, he can afford a luxury player in front of him. Now, the only player you can do one of 2 things: put James Ward-Prowse in there and say, sit in there, get your foot on the ball, and all I want you to do is just keep laying that ball in behind their back 4 for Manolo to run onto. Or you go completely differently and you stick Charlie Austin up front, and then you can use the crosses in the box a little bit more because he's a more physical presence, and you tuck Manolo Gabbiadini in behind him in the number 10 role, as people like to call it now. It's back to basics. Get the squad doing what they know best. And when you're getting a run of results, you can start to muck around with it a bit. But as I say, we got it wrong last Saturday.
Okay, well, all that in mind then, Nick. Well, we certainly need to get off the mark and make sure those Eagles do not soar. But let's wrap things up with a score prediction. What are you feeling?
Well, as you say, Frank de Boer, show him the door after 4. We don't want the Eagles to score. So
all right, Shakespeare.
I'm going to say we're going to get 4.
Just bring it down just a bit, Shakespeare.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like Shakespeare, isn't it? It's what was it? Didn't he have something about an eagle with an eagle in it? I'm not sure. You're right. We don't want the Eagles to soar. I mean, I think we're going to beat them. I think that we're better suited to playing away from home, as we were under Koeman. You know, when we had Ronald Koeman there, we weren't very good at home. We had a couple of good results, mainly at the end of the season and a couple in the middle. But we had plenty of games where we sat back and thought, bloody hell, this is a little bit boring. We're better suited to away from home. I think we can go there and win well. It won't be easy, but I think we're starting to get there.
Excellent stuff then. Don't forget to leave us your thoughts in the comments and your predictions. And as we've been saying, let's hope the Eagles aren't allowed to soar. Leave us your likes, your comments, and your comments on Nick's Shakespeare audition. Don't forget to subscribe for more.